Now that I gave you my little introduction video, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to go ahead and get into my reviews. I'm going to start with Belle Collective because, like I said, that one's in here. So we're going to start with that one first. Let me give you a little run through, another little run through about myself. I have family in Jackson, and I also have family in Canton. And I wanted to let you know how I kind of got started with Dr. Antoinette. It wasn't one of those situations where I saw her on TV and I was like, okay, but she's a dentist. No, my dentist died, and in this little small town that I live in, no other dentist took my insurance. So when I saw her on TV, black lady, and in Jackson, I was like, well, let me give her a call. So that's the real reason why I started with her. Then when I got the when I made the call to her, and she said she accepted my insurance because no other doctor here accepted my insurance. After my dentist had passed. So that's how that started. Well, when I got there for the first visit, it was kind of hard for her to get me settled in because I was looking at Bundy's video. And I never mentioned the show to her because I wanted to keep it professional, and I didn't want it to be one of those situations where she felt like, here they come, they just, here for the show. But no, that wasn't it at all. I was like, I'm gonna keep it professional. I'm not gonna mention the show. But once she saw that I was looking at Bundy's show, she asked me if they talked about her show. So she kind of started. And then I told her that they did, and that's when she said, you know what, I really think you would be good at that. But my history goes way back with reviews. I used to review for the newspaper at Jackson State, and my first published review was for that movie with Denzel, and uh, she passed away. But I can't think of her name right now. She was in Clueless, and I did that line in the movie where she was like, I'll never tell. So, yeah, so I have a real, real long, extensive history with reviewing. I used to intern at the Clarion Ledger, so when I did that internship under one of the greatest reporters in Mississippi, his name was Jimmy. His last name escapes me, but he asked me what did I want to do, and I told him I want to do reviews, and I guess he kind of thought that was odd. But anyway, that's my little history. I'm going to go ahead and go on with the review. Um, I'm going to start with Leticia and Latrice. Now, of course, a lot of people think that this scene is kind of funky because of the fact that Leticia is in the same kind of marriage as Latrice. And I guess they thinking like, what kind of advice could you give her? But I can kind of see where she feels like she needs to talk to Latrice because Latrice is like younger than her, and she maybe think not just in the marriage, but just guidance in general. She might think she could just give her a little guidance in that area. So I can kind of see, why she does that with Latrice. And right at this point, a lot of the ladies is just not really feeling Latrice right now, and she's not feeling them, and I don't blame her. I'm not gonna chase anybody, and I don't blame her for not trying to hang out with them when they don't want to hang out with her, or if they want to just hang out with her for filming. Then it is what it is. Keep pushing. So then we get to, from what I see, highly, I call Akeisha highly because I love to call people by their last name. But anyway, we're gonna get to Akeisha and Dr. Quinn and uh, Gucci. Now, I love their relationship. I love Gucci's relationship with her. It's not a whole lot in that scene to talk about. I like the way she said that she didn't want to take any medication for mental health. Being that I'm a mental health professional, or once was a mental health professional, I kind of like it. It her situation is kind of light, so it wouldn't be just like, I don't think, a permanent thing. But doctors love throw medication at you, so I understand that there. And me and Akeisha, like I said in my intro video, we do have a lot in common because um, I had my kids at the very same age she did 6 years ago. And when I tell you, I feel her pain every time I see her scenes. My kids are bad. Okay? And I'm not sugarcoating that because I'm a mental health professional. I'm telling you, my kids are bad. Period. In the next scene, we see Demond and Tam. Okay, I like their relationship. I always have. Uh, when people would get online and say their relationship was fake, I knew better. I knew that the relationship was fake. I knew she was actually with him. I'm not sure why the ladies didn't know. I mean, they're probably around her more than I am, and so I could just pick up, not just through the TV. I knew they had chemistry from their past interactions, and it wasn't that I was ever around Greedy like that when they were together. I just know that from watching the show, they had chemistry to me, but apparently not to the audience. So when people found out that I knew of Tam, the first thing they would ask, now she didn't really talk like that. and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like a thing where we were in the master's program. They always kind of let us know that the southern accent was not really palatable for TV. So they told us to more so adapt a more Midwestern regional accent. And that was my thing. Apparently, Tam was taking it seriously. They do tell us to get rid of the southern accent. That's that on that. I never did get into that part because I really want to do more writing. I knew I wasn't going to be in front of the camera like that. Also, once I found out that the Southern dialect is closest to the Queen English, you can check that out. I learned that in linguistics. That we, what was the purpose of us changing our accents? Then they say that we sound ignorant. So, and being from Mississippi in the South, that's how we sound. Most of us are educated. Most of the HBCUs are in the South. So I just let that brush off my shoulders. Okay. Anyway, next thing we're gonna talk about Latrice's event. Event. Shout out to Leticia from Love and Marriage Huntsville. So we at Latrice's event, and the girls are all there, and except I think I want to say Akeisha wasn't there, and of course Monroe, she wasn't there. So we know why Marie wasn't there, and I know of Marie just definitely off because when she opened her first clinic in South Jackson, I interviewed at that clinic, so I knew that when people were calling her a fraud, I was like, all you have to do is look online, do the research. This woman has clinics in Jackson. She only had one at that time, but she had told me what her vision was and everything, and that's how she wanted to hire her employees. She wanted her employees to have a similar vision that she did. Apparently, I did because she didn't hire me, but that's neither here nor there. I knew that she wasn't lying. I knew that wasn't fake, and I knew that Latrice, back to Latrice, and I knew that Latrice had her vending machines before she got with Cliff. That's another thing. I don't know Latrice. Like I said, I have family in Kent, where she's originally from, and I also have family in Jackson. But I go to Jackson quite often. I have my youngest daughter is kind of, she has a little heart issue, and I have to go to Jackson for that as well because there's no cardiologists in this general area. So we have to go to Jackson for most eye specialists and things like that. So I knew that that wasn't a lie. She had those vending machines years ago because my sister used to use them. Now, as you can see, I'm natural on the hair, but I'm more of a tubbing girl. Okay. So I knew that she had those vending machines before what she describes on the show as her being with Cliff. So that's neither here nor there. Gucci is at the event. Now, let me say this about Gucci. I love Gucci, okay? I love Gucci's relationship, and I love her relationship with JJ. And I love JJ. My daughter loves JJ, the baby. But I have to bring Jackson. She loves JJ. However, I don't agree with what she said about one up in Latrice. And I knew that that was going to start a firestorm on Twitter when she said that because everybody think Gucci is jealous of everybody. Now, just let me give some insight on the Jackson social scene. These ladies would not be on this show if they didn't have the status that they portray. All of them have their unique individual status. And that's why Carlos picked these ladies, or should I say Leticia picked these ladies, is because they all had their unique talents in, in the entrepreneurial world. So, what are they jealous of? Talk to me. They throwing shade in confessionals because that's what they do. But same thing with Leticia. The Leticia and Treese thing is gonna get me every time. I'm gonna call Latrice, aka Pumpkin. Okay, I'm gonna try to call her Pumpkin. But anyway, so I won't have to say the L word. But anyway, Leticia, I knew she was doing those brunches because my first college roommate is from Pelahatchie. So I knew what the Pelahatchie Posse was. I don't know them, let me be clear, but I do know of that town. And I have to, when I was at Jackson State and I would go to Meridian from Jackson, of course I had to go through Pelahatchie, so I knew where Pelahatchie was. And I knew that, she did. That's small. If you think Jackson is small, where I'm from and Pelahatchie, that big. But let me dispel another myth. Mississippi is not small. Okay? They say it all the time on the show. They mean Jackson is small. Jackson is the one of, I want to say, the biggest city in Mississippi because it's the capital. They picked that place because it is in the center of the state. And people from the north can get there, and people from the south can get there, and people from the east and the west can get there within 2 hours. So that's why they picked that. And actually, where I'm from is about 2 hours away, and most of the state is about 2 hours away because they knew that Mississippi was going to be rural. The state is huge. Okay, we're twins to Alabama. We both had the same landmass. At one time, the states were combined. They just split them up for some reason. I have no idea. Probably slavery, as everything else back in that time. But Mississippi is not small. It's just a huge state with a lot of land, and it's all rural. So Jackson is the probably really one of the only metropolitan areas here, or I would say the coast maybe, and Tupelo and uh, Meridian and Hattiesburg. That's about it. The rest of it, small, rural. But it's a lot of little towns, a lot of them, and it's 82 counties here. So it's not small by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. Anyway, back to Gucci. Now, when she said that, I knew they were going to throw out that she's a hater. She hates. See, she's a hater. She's been hating on Selena. Okay. Now, I believe D. D said that Gucci knew of Selena's conversation with Latrice, which that ties into Gucci's belief that Latrice set her up. And I believe her 100%. And I want to talk a little bit about the fight. Now, her fans are not going to gaslight me into believing one iota that she didn't start that fight. First of all, let's start at the beginning and not in the middle. Yes, she called her an extra. Okay. And that's what she is. Is she main cast? Okay. Then there's that. That got under Selena's crawl space because she's the queen of toxin. Okay. So when that got under her crawl space, she taps Gucci on her shoulder as she walking away. Now, you know the fans have to be in that lady's pocket when that lady got on Carlos King's show and admitted that she hit her in the face with the glass first. She admitted that she got physical first. So, what is it? What am I missing here that nobody else is? Yes, Gucci took off her glasses and ran up. But that was all after Selena tapped her on the shoulder. Nobody saw that but me. Well, I rewinded back 3 times to make sure. And Selena said, she said, that Gucci had said, I'm about to hit this B in the face with this glass. No, she didn't. She didn't say that either. And you can see that in the tape. She said, hold my glass. And when she said, hold my glass, that's when she tried to push around and get to Selena. And the fight ensued. I'm not going to say both of them were at fault because it all started by somebody not speaking to somebody. I don't speak people out. I don't chase nobody. And I sure don't speak to people I'm with. You heard that? And I don't blame Gucci on that. So, as far as the fight goes, I'm Team Gucci. Yes, Gucci is dragging it out a little bit with Latrice. And I hate they don't get along because their can dynamic could have been chef kiss. Okay. Next thing. We still at the event. And Latrice psychs him out like she's planning the pregnancy and like it's a pregnancy reveal when actually she's selling her edge control, darling. And I'm so impressed with that. I admire Latrice, and it is what it is on that. Like I said, I don't agree with Gucci saying she's going at one up her. I didn't like that at all, but at the same time, it doesn't change how I feel about Gucci. Okay, like I said, they all shade each other. And to go back to the shade, nobody is mentioning that Latrice also called Tam a liar. She's a liar. She said it in her confession. And she was naming things that's wrong with the she was naming things that was wrong with Tam. But yeah, back to the I forgot to mention the radio situation. I'm very impressed with Tam allowing Leticia to be on her radio show. That was definitely being a bigger person. Uh, Tam's kind of like that, but she's always, and I can tell you firsthand, she's always advertised their business. Every time I go to Jackson, because 97.7 don't have the best frequency, but I do listen to stations in Jackson. And every time I go to Jackson or like maybe right outside, I'm coming in like right around Carthage, I start picking up 97.7 and she advertises for all of them. So that's why it really surprised me how Marie trapped her like that. I didn't like that at all. It was far, that went way too far. and went way far and beyond over reality TV. That was out of line. Her and Leticia were out of line for that. And I tweeted about it. Okay, so next thing is the brunch. Well, my friend, who I mentioned at the beginning, was definitely at that brunch. She is a Belle's bondsman, and she's been following Leticia for quite a while. So proud of her. She had a good little scene on the show. She didn't have a speaking scene, but she was definitely in there. In there, I recognized her right away. Um, the brunch. Let's talk about the brunch. Now, Leticia, if you don't want your guests and your panelists dropping F-bombs, don't give them anything to drink. It's quite obvious that Latrice has a issue speaking in public. She has an issue on camera speaking because she's all the time. And that is definitely a sign of like a little nervous tick. So she was quite relaxed up there doing her speech. And just because she dropped a couple of F bombs and said that people don't want 9 to 5s, that was funny to me. But anyway, I didn't see anything wrong with what she said. I was quite impressed with her because I was happy that she had gotten that far because I knew she was nervous. So, and then, oh, Maria in that confessional. Why? Why? Did she imply that this lady is an alcoholic? That is bad enough that everybody's talking about the lady's marriage. And just let me say, I called Cliff Woodstock, so I'm not impressed with him either. However, that's that lady's marriage. And I see it like this: as a mental health professional who has dealt with domestic violence, who has had a client's husband knock an air conditioner through the window. He was trying to get to her so quickly. Uh, Threw a Molotov cocktail through the house, burned up the whole house. Only one of her children survived. She didn't survive either. So I'm quite familiar with nurse, but that is her decision to make. She's not ready. Her mom knows she's not ready. They need to make. If y'all talking about, they need to make some Lena a cast. Let's talk about Miss Gloria. Okay, Miss Gloria. That's who should be cast. Both her and Leticia mom. Cause Leticia mom said, I've been married 6 times. I chunk them up. I don't hang around to let them mistreat me. And that's what I'm talking about. And then when Miss Gloria said, I've been up, I said, you better go, Miss Gloria. I love Miss Gloria. Anyway, I said all that to say she's not ready, guys. Leave her alone. Let her handle her marriage how she wants to handle her marriage. She gets on Twitter defending that marriage every Friday. Let her handle it how she wants to handle it. Now back to the brunch. When that lady said, do y'all have $400,000 houses in Mississippi? In this little town that I live in, we have $400,000 houses and $1,000,000 houses and millionaires, black and white, who can afford $400,000 houses. The biggest machine company in America is housed in this little bit of town, Taylor Machine Works. And when I say it's the biggest, it is the biggest. We're talking about $1 billion company. Yes, in this little bit of town, right outside of Carthage, headed to Jackson down 25, we have the biggest machine works company in America. Billion dollar industry. So, and people come from all over the world to buy their machine works. And he has buildings all over town. That's why nobody else can do anything here. Because he got a building on the corner there, he got a building on the corner here. Got a bit. His house is probably no more than 2 miles away from my house. And you think that house ain't worth $1 million? You think the man that owned 15 grocery stores in this northeast area don't have $1 million house? That man have cows sitting on the side of the road when you drive by down 15.